Hi guys, like to welcome you guys all back to Read with Melanin. Yes, I know. Brittany, what the heck happened? Listen, Brittany got sick. Then Brittany had a major allergic reaction that kind of just sent everything into a February will be the beginning of my new year vibe. So with that being said, I want to give a couple of announcements since I know you might not make it to the end, and that's okay. So number one, we will be posting once a week on Wednesdays here on this channel. So feel free to come check us out every Wednesday. We will also be working a lot with Black Pros Club this month because we are doing our Black Book Summit this year, but we are doing it as a read along, which I will talk about more later. And I will also try to leave information down below in the description box for you to check out. But with that being said, today I'm here to talk about the books that I read for the month of January. Also, I would like to know you guys' thoughts. I'm kind of thinking of turning my recap videos into like a favorites video almost, where I talk about other things that I enjoyed during the month, including reading. So if you guys are interested in that, let me know. But for this particular video, we're going to talk about the books that I read this month, but then we are also going to update my lovely dovely reading journal. Obviously, this is something that I'm doing on the side, but if you guys would like to update your reading journals with me, the timestamps for when that starts is down below. Excuse me. This month I read 4, 5, 6, 7. I read 7 books. And I paused 2 books, and I also need to pause myself because I forgot to tell you guys. So if you guys remember on my community page, I said that I set up and I wanted to do a buddy read, and I wanted to do the buddy read on the space opera that we were all excited to read, and that was The Principle of Moments by Esme Jacami Pearson. Well, baby, let me tell you, one, I am so sorry to Esme for doubting her, because the publishing companies decided to do us dirty and it was not available to buy anywhere, really. And so when I realized that, because I had actually gone to Barnes & Noble without even thinking, I checked some of the Black-owned bookstores that I normally go to. They didn't have the book. And then when I finally realized that and I went on Amazon, it was completely sold out. So I could not participate in the buddy read that I set up for this month. In fact, I'm still trying to get the book as we speak, as we record right now. I still am unable to get the book. And I still want the book, but that is why I am announcing that for February's buddy read, we are actually going to start about 5 days after the book releases. So the book for February is The Infinity's Daughter. Hold on. Infinity Alchemist by Kaysen Calendar. That's the one that I want to read as a buddy read. And so not only have I already pre-ordered that bad boy, but I do plan on starting the actual buddy read 5 days after the book comes out to give us time to get it. And it also gives me time to kind of set up the different forum chats for the read along. And so I do apologize for that. I didn't realize basically this is a learning curve for me, as I've never hosted buddy reads like that, especially on Storygraph. So my bad. I apologize. But if you are reading The Principle of Moments and you are a part of the read along, please leave some comments. I want to read them. I want to know how y'all are liking the book, because I'm still mad that I don't have that book in my hand. I really thought I was going to be reading that this month, but I didn't. So while I was sick, I obviously started watching the Percy Jackson series on Disney Plus, which has prompted me and Troy Nicole to have serious, in-depth, ridiculous conversations about our likes and dislikes about the current adaptation. And it also prompted me to reread a lot of the books. However, I did listen to them via audiobook, and it was actually a channel on YouTube. The person that read the books, I'm gonna leave their YouTube information down below because I think they do need some more support. The way that he reads it is so lovely. But I read the first 4 Percy Jackson books. So that's Percy Jackson, The Lightning Thief, Sea of Monsters, Titan's Curse, and Labyrinth. Those were the first 4. So I read the first 4, and I don't know. Now that I'm older and I when I read middle grade books as an adult versus when I was a kid, it always intrigues me on the things that I've pick up on as an adult that I completely missed as a kid, like completely missed. And I actually kind of like that. I'm like, that, I don't know if that means that every kid, that the age group that this book is directed to misses things and like picks up on certain things that maybe adults don't necessarily pick up on. But I'm glad that the series is kind of sticking to the story a lot more than a lot of other adaptations do. And so I just really appreciate that. I just wanted to like give that moment because we actually got some books to discuss. So let's just go ahead. Those were the first 4 books. So you guys know that I paused. Well, I don't know if you do know. I don't know if I said this, but I paused The Memory Thieves by Danielle Clayton because I'm kind of bored. I'm going to be really honest with you guys. The Marvelers, the first book, I'm like, yes, it was giving. I read it all the way through, no question. The second book is, it feels like there's a lot of fluff. I feel like we are doing a lot of fluffing in this book. And so it's getting hard to get into. I'm not invested like I was in the first book. I understand that this book is kind of like setting up for things, but it's just so blatantly obviously setting up things that I know that nothing really of value is going to be happening in this book. And I don't know how I feel about that. I don't know. So basically I paused it for a little while and I'll probably come back to it later on in February. Right now, I'm just not in the mood. The same thing goes for the second book of Son of the Storm. It's not that I don't want to read that book. It's just that at the moment I have misplaced that book and I don't know where I put it. So it's like an involuntary pause until I can find what the heck I did with the book, because I've been reading that book. I thought it was in my reading chair and that wasn't my reading chair. That was my Bible. So it's like, I don't know what I did with the book. So hopefully I find it. Hopefully I didn't leave it at work or something. I don't know. I cannot find the book. But obviously, because I like this book, I actually looked and saw what other books they've written. And they wrote a middle grade book. And that is where we come to Zachary Ying and the Dragon Emperor. Now, if y'all know, I've already said that the middle grade fantasy realm, in terms of like making books that have a lot of culture and a lot of family-based cultures and stuff in them, they are eating the game up in this fantasy realm. And I can say the same thing goes for Zachary Ying. I do plan on reading some Tristan Strong this year and see if I still feel the same way. But I enjoyed the book. It was giving Yu-Gi-Oh! It was giving a little bit of Yu-Gi-Oh! It was giving a little bit of it gave a little bit of like Pokemon Final Fantasy vibes, honestly. It's like a futuristic, it's got a lot of futuristic touches to it, but like the basis is Zachary is the ultra descendant of the Dragon Emperor, and the Dragon Emperor comes back basically to save the world. And the Dragon Emperor is also, and this is based off the Dragon Emperor of China, the one who basically established China. So there's obviously some good, there's some bad, there's some morally gray characters. Like, there's a lot of questions about who is good and evil. I really enjoyed the book. I will say that they got me in this writing, because I hadn't realized that I got to the end of the book. And so when I was reading, there was this one, there's a major moment at the end of the book that kind of sets the precedence for the second book, but you don't realize it until you turn the page and realize there's no more writing. And I was like, touche, you got me. Also, my battery's about to die, so hold on, let me pause and change it. Sorry, I adjusted the camera too because I realized we wanted to give like a better angle. Okay. But like I was saying, I felt like the book was giving. I look forward to the second book. I forgot the rating that I gave it, but I know that I already wrote my recap thoughts on it. So we'll show that in the journaling part of this video. The next book that I read was Getting Schooled by Christina C. Jones. I needed something fluffy. I was in my feelings. I was really mad. I had planned out a lot of stuff for my birthday month, and due to life, I was not able to do some of the things. And so sometimes I just wanted to feel good. I wanted a rom-com, but obviously we don't have a lot of Black rom-coms. So what did I have to do? Dive into the Black romance section to get my rom-comness. And this story is based on a girl who is the teacher assistant to her mother's class. And she ends up kind of going tete-for-tete with one of the students in the class. But he's not like a typical student. He's an older student. Retired medically discharged military who was coming to get his degree to work with stuff he was already doing. I thought it was really cute. I was like, I would have loved to have a college love story, but as I am out of college right now, but I am, it's funny because I'm considering going back to school for marketing. So it's always interesting to see like the way that would work. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe it's in my cards. Maybe it's not in my cards. We'll never know. But I enjoyed the book. It gave me a quick little like butterfly moment. It gave me a little happy moment. So I'm very satisfied with what I read. So the last book that I read this month was Codename Butterfly by Mbase Susberry. And the premise of this story is, well, technically it's based off of a true story. But it's about the story of a girl who was a spy alongside Josephine Baker. And she pretended to be Josephine Baker's cousin because they favored each other so much. And y'all know back in the day, they assume all black people looked alike. So I'm not really sure. Like me being black, I'm like, did they really look alike, or like was this one of those situations where like they saw two light-skinned girls and was like, oh, y'all must be family? Because that happens to me all the time. If it's a black girl next to me that's the slightest tint of brown, they automatically get us mixed up. That's a whole nother story for another day. But I really liked it. It was a very fast-paced book. I felt on edge a couple of times. So she's an American girl. Her name is Elle. And when she finally makes the decision to become a spy, you realize a couple of things. My whole life, and I don't know if this part is true. I have to look it up now because whenever I read historical fiction, it makes me want to go look up the event that I was reading. And I've read a lot of historical fiction based around World War II. And I have read a lot of them. I've never read a book about World War II based on black people. This is actually my first historical fiction of that genre, and I want to dive more into it. It was really interesting. But I need to look this up. Like, so Josephine Baker and them was out there being spies for like France or whatever, but like wasn't getting paid, wasn't getting no type of recognition. Like, I was like, being black back in the day, you had to have a level of magic, because the disrespect that I felt reading the fact that like they did all of this basically because out of the goodness of their hearts. And in my head, I'm like, they don't like us. Why was y'all helping them for free? But then I also remember, like, would I have wanted to be under Nazi rule? So again, it's very interesting. It was super fast paced. I really enjoyed this book. I think I've been talking about this book for a while. I've been telling many people as I can to listen to it. I listened to it via audiobook. I really like the narrator for this one. I had the settings to 1.5 because it was read really, really slow. Excuse me. But I really enjoyed the book. I highly recommend this book. I give it like a 4.5 out of 5. The only reason I'm not giving it a full 5 stars is because I legit kind of need more. Which is a stupid reason not to give half a star. Just pretend I never said that, because I realize I be clowning people for taking stuff off for stupid reasons. That was a stupid reason, and I'm gonna check myself on that. Okay, guys, so those were the books that I read in the month of January. So here we are going to take a break, and we are going to go straight to the journals. right, guys, so those were my recap, my journaling. How are you guys doing with journaling? I also updated my story graph, so if you guys want to follow me over there on story graph, I'll leave a link down below. Yeah, I think I had a really good reading month. I'm really happy with what I read, how I read, and I just hope for more. So like I said, I'll see y'all next Wednesday for another video, and until the next time, guys, keep reading. Thank you.